Finally, I'm with the golden child. Jake is the favorite son, and you are just the spare tire. He's going to inherit the entire family estate while you get absolutely nothing. You're boring, weak, and your parents barely tolerate you. I secured my future with the real heir, so get out of our mansion and go cry in your car. Those words came from his wife of 7 years. She was sitting in their master bedroom, cigarette in hand, blowing smoke directly into his face while laughing, and she wasn't alone. His younger brother, Jake, sat right there beside her, not even bothering to cover himself with a sheet. Marcus had returned home 3 days early from a business trip. He wanted to surprise her. Instead, he walked into a scene that would shatter most men completely. But here's the thing about Marcus, he wasn't most men. And what his wife didn't know was about to destroy absolutely everything she thought she had. Before we dive into how Marcus flipped this nightmare into the most satisfying revenge you'll ever hear, let me ask you something. What would you do if you caught your spouse cheating with your own brother, and instead of apologizing, they mocked you to your face? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you love stories of justice and karma, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss these incredible tales. Now, let me take you back to where this whole thing started. Marcus and Victoria met at a charity gala 8 years ago. She was a marketing coordinator at a mid-level firm. He was dressed simply, drove a modest car, and never mentioned his family background. That was intentional. Marcus had learned early in life that money attracts the wrong kind of people, so he kept things quiet. They dated for 14 months before he proposed. She said yes with tears streaming down her face. They married in an intimate ceremony with close friends and family. His parents attended but kept their distance from the festivities. Something about Victoria never sat right with them, but they respected their son's choice. What Victoria never discovered during their entire marriage was that Marcus wasn't just comfortable. He was extremely wealthy. His family owned commercial real estate across 6 states. The portfolio was worth over $47 million. Marcus himself controlled a private investment fund that had quietly grown to $12 million under his personal management. But he drove a Honda, wore clothes from regular stores, lived in what Victoria thought was a modest family home worth maybe $400,000. In reality, that property sat on land valued at over $3 million, and his name was on the deed to 17 other properties just like it. Victoria believed she had married an average man with an average future. She had no idea she was sleeping next to a fortune every single night. His younger brother Jake was a different story altogether. Jake was flashy. He drove expensive cars, wore designer labels, posted pictures from luxury vacations. Everyone in the family knew Jake lived far beyond his means, but their parents covered his lifestyle because they felt guilty about something nobody ever discussed. Jake was adopted. The family brought him home when he was 3 years old. They raised him exactly like their biological son, gave him every opportunity, paid for his education, set up a trust fund in his name. But Jake developed habits that drained money faster than anyone could refill it. Gambling, bad investments, expensive tastes with zero income to support them. What Jake didn't know was that their father had discovered the depth of his gambling debts just 2 weeks before everything fell apart. Over $600,000 owed to dangerous people. The old man was furious, but he kept it quiet. He was already making moves behind the scenes. Little did Victoria know, the truth was about to destroy everything she had planned. Victoria started changing about 18 months into their marriage. She complained about their house, criticized his car, made comments about how her friends' husbands bought them nicer things. Marcus noticed but said nothing. He kept his wealth hidden because he wanted to see what kind of person she really was. The answer became painfully clear. She started spending more time with Jake. Sunday dinners at his parents' house became opportunities for her to sit beside his brother instead of him. She laughed at Jake's jokes louder than necessary, touched his arm when she spoke. Marcus watched it all with growing unease. He trusted her anyway. That was his mistake. The affair started roughly 8 months before that horrible day in the bedroom. Victoria had grown impatient waiting for the family fortune. She believed Jake was the favorite son, the one who would inherit everything. So she made her move. They met secretly at hotels, exchanged messages on apps they thought were private, made plans for a future that would never come. Victoria was convinced she had outsmarted everyone. She would divorce Marcus, marry Jake, and live like the queen she believed she deserved to be. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? Someone you gave your whole heart to? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The night Marcus discovered everything. He had come home early because a deal closed faster than expected. He walked through the front door at 9 in the evening. The house was strangely quiet. No television, no music, just faint sounds coming from upstairs. He climbed the stairs slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. Something in his gut told him what he was about to find, but his heart refused to believe it. The bedroom door was slightly open. He pushed it wider and froze. There they were, his wife and his brother, in his bed, on sheets he had bought for their anniversary. Victoria didn't scream, she didn't apologize, she didn't even bother to cover herself. Instead, she reached for a cigarette on the nightstand, lit it calmly, and took a long drag. "Well," she said, exhaling smoke toward his face, "took you long enough to figure it out." Jake sat there with a smug grin, saying nothing. He didn't need to. His silence spoke volumes. 7 years, Marcus said quietly. 7 years, and this is what you give me? Victoria laughed, actually laughed. 7 years of boredom, she spat back. 7 years of driving that pathetic car and living in this average house. You have no ambition, no fire. Your brother here? He's going places. He's the golden child. Your parents adore him. They've always loved him more than you. She stood up, not caring about her state of undress. Face it, Marcus. You're the spare tire, the backup son. Jake is going to inherit everything your family has built, and I'm going to be right there beside him when it happens. We're in love. We've been planning this for months, so do yourself a favor. Get out of our mansion and go cry in your car. Our mansion. Those 2 words echoed in his mind. What she said next would change everything. Oh, and one more thing, Victoria added with venom dripping from her voice. Don't expect your parents to take your side. They've always seen you as the disappointment, the boring one. The son they had by accident before Jake came along and saved the family legacy. Marcus stood completely still. His face revealed nothing. Inside, 1,000 emotions raged like a hurricane, but outside, cold as ice. He didn't yell, he didn't cry, he didn't beg. Instead, he walked slowly toward the wall safe in the corner of the room. Victoria watched with confusion as he punched in a code and pulled out a thick manila envelope. "What are you doing?" she demanded. He ignored her question, just held up the envelope and spoke 4 words that shattered her entire world. Dad updated his will. The color drained from Victoria's face. Jake finally lost his smug expression. "What are you talking about?" Jake said, his voice cracking. Slightly. Marcus opened the envelope and pulled out a document stamped with official seals. "This morning," he explained, calmly, "after discovering your gambling debts of $623,000 owed to some very unpleasant people, Dad made some changes. Want to know what they say?" Neither of them answered. The silence was deafening. If you love watching entitled people face reality, make sure you're subscribed. We post stories like this every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Marcus read directly from the document. Effective immediately, Jacob Marcus Wellington, due to his outstanding gambling debts, his willful deception regarding financial matters, and his affair with his brother's wife, is hereby disowned from the Wellington family estate. All trust fund access is terminated. All credit lines connected to family accounts are canceled. His name is removed from all property deeds and inheritance documents. Jake jumped to his feet. "That's not possible. I'm their son." Marcus looked at him with something close to pity. "Actually," he said slowly, "there's one more thing you should know. Dad and Mom told me this when I turned 18. They waited to tell you because they wanted to find the right time. But I guess now is as good as any." He paused for effect. "You're adopted, Jake. You always were. They loved you the same, gave you every opportunity, treated you like their own blood. But biologically, you're not a Wellington, and after what you've done, you're not part of this family at all." The words hung in the air like a bomb about to detonate. Victoria screamed, "You're lying! He's lying, Jake! Tell me he's lying!" But Jake's face told her everything she needed to know. Somewhere deep down, he had always suspected. The truth just finally caught up with him. Marcus pulled out his phone and made a single call. "Send them in," he said quietly. Within minutes, 3 security officers appeared in the bedroom. Doorway, professional, emotionless, waiting for instructions. "Escort these 2 off the property," Marcus commanded. "They can take nothing with them, not a single item, not one piece of clothing, nothing." Victoria shrieked as the officers moved forward. "You can't do this! This is my house too, we're married." Marcus smiled for the first time that night. "Actually, we're not. Not for long anyway. And this house, it was never in your name. Neither is anything else. I made sure of that before we even signed the marriage certificate. Call it intuition. The officers physically removed both of them, down the stairs, through the front door, onto the cold driveway in the night air, with nothing but their shame. Marcus followed and stood at the threshold. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a $1 bill. He tossed it at Victoria's feet. "Start saving," he said. "You're going to need it. I canceled every credit card, blacklisted you from every family property, and called every luxury hotel in the state. Nowhere will take you. Not tonight. Not ever." Victoria was sobbing now. The arrogance had completely melted away. "Marcus, please," she begged. "Please, I made a mistake. I was confused. Jake manipulated me. He told me lies about you. Please, we can work this out. 7 years, Marcus. 7 years has to mean something." He stared at her for a long moment. "7 years did mean something," he replied, "until you made it mean nothing." He stepped back inside and closed the door. Would you have stayed silent and let karma handle it, or would you have confronted them like Marcus did? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The twist coming will shock you. Stay with me. The divorce was finalized in record time. Victoria tried to fight for alimony, for property, for anything she could grab, but Marcus had done his homework years before. Every asset was protected. Every document was airtight. Her lawyer eventually advised her to accept a minimal settlement, just to end the embarrassment. She walked away with $42,000. That was it. From what she thought would be a multi-million-dollar marriage, she got pocket change. Jake's situation was even worse. The gambling debts didn't disappear just because he was cut off from the family. The people he owed money to came calling. Without Wellington money to protect him, he had to sell everything. His car, his watch collection, his designer clothes, every symbol of the lifestyle he had faked for years. Within 6 months, he was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in a rundown part of town, working as a deliveryman to pay rent and stay ahead of his creditors. The golden child had become a ghost. Victoria lasted slightly longer. She bounced between friends' couches and cheap motels. Her marketing skills meant nothing without professional references, and word had spread through her industry about what happened. Nobody wanted to hire someone known for such betrayal. She reached out to Marcus 3 more times, each message more desperate than the last. The first message begged for forgiveness, said she'd changed, promised it would never happen again. He deleted it. The second message claimed she was pregnant with his child, a lie, obviously. He didn't even dignify it with a response. The third message threatened to go to the media, to expose the Wellington family as cruel and vindictive. Marcus forwarded that one directly to his lawyers. She never contacted him again. Just when she thought it couldn't get worse, it absolutely did. Victoria's parents found out the full story, not her version, the real version. They were so ashamed that they publicly distanced themselves from her. The woman who had mocked Marcus for having unsupportive parents suddenly found herself with no parents at all. Meanwhile, Marcus flourished. He finally revealed his wealth publicly, partnered with his father to expand the real estate portfolio into 3 new states. The fund he managed doubled in value over the following 2 years. He started dating again after a year of healing. Met a woman named Sarah at a business conference. She was kind, genuine, and had no idea about his family money when they first talked. She liked him for his sense of humor and his quiet strength. They married 18 months later in a beautiful ceremony overlooking the ocean. His parents attended and actually smiled this time. They welcomed Sarah into the family with open arms. Marcus never spoke about Victoria again, not because the wounds were fresh, but because some people don't deserve space in your memory. If you were in Victoria's position now, with everything lost and no way back, what would you do differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. There's a lesson here that goes beyond revenge and justice. It's about the danger of assumptions. Victoria assumed Marcus was weak because he was quiet. She assumed Jake would inherit everything because he was loud. She assumed appearances told the whole story. Every single assumption was wrong. Real strength doesn't announce itself. Real wealth doesn't need to show off. And real character only reveals itself when tested. Victoria failed every test. She chased shadows instead of substance. She mistook flash for fortune and cruelty for cleverness. In the end, she got exactly what she deserved. Nothing. Marcus didn't win because he was vengeful. He won because he was prepared. He protected himself long before the betrayal happened. He watched, waited, and when the moment came, he acted with precision. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Some people enter your life to teach you what you don't want. Victoria was that teacher for Marcus. Her betrayal led him to everything he actually needed: a fresh start, a real partner, and the peace of knowing he'd never settle for less again. Karma doesn't always work fast, but it always works fair. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon right now. We share incredible tales of justice, karma, and people getting exactly what they deserve every single week. Drop a like if you were satisfied with how Marcus handled things, and leave a comment telling me what you would have done differently. Did you think Victoria deserved her ending? Was Marcus too harsh or not harsh enough? I want to hear from you. Thanks for watching. The next story is already waiting for you. Click it now.